The Washington Research Council has been around for 83 years, and that the entire time it has sought to do one thing: provide fact-based research and analysis for the business community with the purpose of enhancing, improving economic vitality and private sector job growth. Well, I've only been with the organization since the first day of January this year, so I'm a recent addition to the staff of the council. My background is involved with congressional policy. I was a congressional chief of staff for 6 years. I've done consulting for a number of entities and organizations, state agencies, and I have dabbled a bit in politics as well, and in the electoral side. I mean, so I have kind of a dual background. Well, Jim, when you're trying to push your message out, it's important that you have a solid factual basis behind it. So you know what you're getting into when you put that message out there, and some people might be responding to it or might be opposed to it. So that you're in the strongest possible position that you can be completely confident that what you're saying is the facts. Well, we start with state government, and we start with the budget and taxation, where the money is spent and how they obtain the money to spend. Those are the two things that we have a laser focus on, particularly while the legislature is in session. Mm-hmm. After that, we talk about other issues that we think are very critical to economic vitality in this state. Certainly transportation is one of those. I drove from Everett down here today. I can tell you we have a little work to do in the transportation arena. Education, of course, is critical for our future. That's not questioned by anybody. And we look at, very much at higher education. We look at the type of curriculum in the classroom, and with a focus on technical and STEM type of education, engineering, the technical world. We think that's an area where we could improve a lot in Washington State. So we will take some of these other issues on, but we start with the budget and with taxation. Well, it's obvious to us, if Governor Inslee comes out with a budget proposal, we're going to cover that. If Chairman Hunter has a thought piece on changing the way schools are funded, we're going to cover that. I mean, those things are obvious to us. We look to our executive committee and our board for suggestions, our members. And then after that, we do on occasion do work on contract, which is approved by our board, but that can be on an electoral initiative. We did a piece of work on contract last year for the oil industry, just highlighting and documenting the economic impact of oil refineries in the state, the positive impact that they have, making sure the public is aware of that. That's always an interesting question. And we continue to use the traditional method of publishing, although now it's electronic publishing, of our special reports and policy briefs. We blog every day on various topics, but we've added recently, Jim, 2 podcast series. One's called Policy Today. It covers a single issue that we think is of vital concern to the citizens of the state. And then we have another another podcast series called In Focus, where we take 3 to 6 issues. A lot of times they're blog posts we've done, or just articles that we've seen, or studies that we've seen in other venues, and bring those to the attention of our audience. So we're doing that. We're going to be doing more with video. We're going to be moving out into the community more than we have been in recent years, with regional meetings and even meetings in downtown Seattle for business people that they can just come. And what I really envision there is we're a venue where people can come and have very serious policy discussions, even if they do not agree, in a safe venue where we're interested in the facts, not gotcha type of politics. So. One of them is an issue whose nickname is levy swap, and that issue has to do with the McCleary decision and education funding. Right now, a lot of the funding for basic education for M&O, maintenance and operations, comes from local school districts, from local levies. I'm sure you've seen on your ballot. It's now been determined that the state needs to be the primary funder of basic education. And so legislators of both political parties are trying to understand how to replace local dollars with state dollars. And once the money starts moving, people have all kinds of ideas of other things they should do. There's actually a little interesting quirk to this. If you have level funding, not a dollar more for any student, every student gets the same funding per student they get now, and you replace local taxes with one state property tax at one rate, some people will pay more and some less. So people are already talking about a tax increase. So it's an issue that has not really been in the public eye, but trust me, as this moves along, it may take a couple of more years. The legislators have essentially till 2018 to figure this out with the timeline the Supreme Court's given them. But this is an issue that property owners of every description in the state are going to become very interested in. Sure. I think one issue that's been influenced is the question of whether we should have a capital gains tax, whether part of an income tax or freestanding in the state. There's proposals before the legislature right now on that topic. But I think our work has shown conclusively that capital gains taxes are among the most volatile of taxes for a state government, which means the revenue level is not predictable. So if you're going to fund education, for example, with a capital gains tax, you're going to be on a real roller coaster ride, which is not what the legislators are interested in right now. So I think that's one issue where we've had a significant impact in that one area. Well, I'm sure from the standpoint of business associations, not as seriously as it might be. In my conversations over many years with leaders and members of both political parties, I think there is a general understanding of the importance of the business climate to the state. How that's interpreted, however, in terms of legislation they put forth, how that understanding is affected when they're pressured by groups who do not have the business climate as their primary concern, it varies. It varies. And I think it is always important to be educating our legislators with fact-based research and analysis because they're very busy, they have a lot of pressures. And I think it's important to constantly be bringing them back to economic fundamentals and to point out aspects of some of the issues of the day, like the volatility of capital gains tax. This kind of thing is very important. Go to researchcouncil.org.